Hey, folks, welcome back to EarthSky. I am Dave Adalian, and today we are heading out west, deep into Northern California's most rugged forests. The wolves are coming home. Here in Central California, Canis lupus, the gray wolf is already back. This is the Yalumne pack right up here next to me in Sequoia National Forest, and it gained its pack status last year. It was given by the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. Oh, doesn't that send some chills down the spine? Amaroq Weiss is my guest today, and she is a wolf expert, advocate, and researcher with the Center for Biological Diversity. And she's going to tell us about some really cool news that is going on right now. Welcome, Amaroq. Thank you for being here, ma'am. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm great. Every day in California, we get more good wolf news. It's a great day.
It is. It is. So we had an exciting announcement. The World of Wolves last week. It came from again the Department of Fish and Wildlife. Can you tell us what that was? It's exciting.
Yeah, actually, one of the very last days of May, I think it was May 28th, we keep getting more and more news. California Department of Fish and Wildlife announced that they are now confirmed an additional 3 new wolf packs in California. And those are the Ishi pack, the Ashpan pack, and the Tennyson pack. And so that now brings our pack total to 10.
Wow. Wow. We're getting big here. So these were known populations, I think, that developed, right? Is that right? Let's see. Where are we here? Where are they? Let's just start there. These are in mountainous areas of Northern California. These are the Sierra to the east, and then to the north, they're the Cascades, the Sierra Nevada.
Yes, if you look at this map, this is from CDFW, and since California is a long state, they divided the map in half. So the left side is the northern part of the state down to Sacramento. The right side is from Sacramento further south. All of these yellow polygon areas are known pack territories, and then the red crosshatch areas are where there are small groups of wolves ranging, which don't yet qualify as packs. We could talk about that in a little bit. But if you look at these yellow polygons, you can see the 3 new packs that I described. The Ishi pack, which is ranging in eastern Tehama County, and that pack is composed of at least 3 wolves. And then the Tennyson pack is in central Lassen County, and that includes at least 2 wolves. And then the 3rd new pack is the Ashpan pack in eastern Shasta County, and they also are composed of at least 2 wolves.
Okay. So these were animals that are populations rather that we knew about. Why don't we, where are we here? I had some, yeah, we go. We've got some wolf pups to look at. We can watch the wolf pups play while you tell us what it means to be upgraded to pack status. What makes a pack a pack? Tell us about that.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah. So first, it's really helpful to understand that wolves do live in packs. That is their social unit. They tend not to live as lone animals, though they may disperse as lone animals, but they live just like a family does, a human family does, with multiple generations, mom and dad, pups of the year, and then maybe some offspring from the last year or 2 that stuck around. And so the definition of a wolf pack in California is 2 or more wolves detected in a specific area within 6 months or showing recorded evidence of breeding. And so specifically what that means is if the agency detects multiple wolves and evidence of breeding, then that would be named as a pack. Or if they detect 2 or more wolves 4 or more times within a 6-month period within the same essential geographic area, even if they don't have evidence of reproduction, then that also qualifies as a pack. And then on the other hand, on that map where we showed the red crosshatch areas of animals that don't yet qualify as a pack, that's if 2 or more wolves are detected, but they're in an area outside of a known pack territory, or there's no evidence of breeding, or they haven't had 4 sightings of them within a 6-month period, but enough sightings to say, yeah, this is a new area of wolf activity.
Okay. And you know what? If you look on the right-hand side, the one isolated yellow space down there, that's the Yalumni Pack. That's a lot of distance. That's hundreds and hundreds of miles of open mountain territory between here and there. These are predators. They need a lot of territory. So where would we expect to see them? I mean, these are predators. They range a long distance to hunt. It's how did this research happen? How come we're not in conflict so hard between wolves and people this time? What's changed?
Yeah, so first of all, wolves, there's a great Russian proverb that says wolves are an animal which lives by its feet. And that is exactly what they do. They travel as part of their biology. So it was well known before wolves started coming to California that we would get wolves here because they would be traveling here from other places nearby that were starting to get wolves back. This particular map comes from the 2016 California Department of Fish and Wildlife State Wolf Plan. And what this map depicts is identified suitable wolf habitat in California. And so basically how you determine what is suitable wolf habitat is places where there's low road density, low human population density, forested areas, prey availability, and you overlay all of those different maps over each other and you get this composite map. And all of these areas on the map, which are gray, have been identified as suitable habitat for wolves in California. And we know that all of the area north of Interstate 80 is 23,200 square miles. And the agency hasn't even yet calculated what the mileage is south of Interstate 80. And we also know from their calculations that the area north of Interstate 80 could support anywhere from 400 to 500 wolves. And they haven't yet calculated what could be supported further south. So although we say we have 10 packs and maybe about 70 wolves right now, as you can see, we're still in the really early stages of wolf recovery. There's plenty of more habitat for wolves to live here. And as far as your question about, why haven't we killed them off again? It's very astute. Before Europeans arrived here, for 10 to 20,000 years, the indigenous people lived across North America, including California, mostly very peaceably with wolves. It was only after European explorers and settlers came that there was then this campaign to kill off all the wolves, and that was quite successful. Really, by the early 1900s, most of our wolves were gone from the entire lower 48 United States. What has changed, why we're not killing them all off again now that they're coming back, is that we have developed a new understanding of wolves. We have realized their value. We have realized that they have ecological value, they have economic value. And then as sentient, sapient, social animals, they have intrinsic value, all of their own, no matter what value we ascribe to them. But for wolves to recover, what has been essential is to have laws in place to protect these animals in recognition of that value. Because some of our old attitudes towards wolves do still exist in some sectors of the public who would like to eradicate wolves all over again. So it's really critical that the Federal Endangered Species Act was passed and wolves were listed for protection under that act and still are in most parts of the US. And it was really critical that wolves were listed under California's State Endangered Species Act and still are.
Oh, we've seen you. Oh, you froze there for a second. Thank goodness. Um, so we have had some incidents recently with livestock attacks and things like that, but there is a program in place now, um, through the Department of Fish and Wildlife that pays ranchers for their problem, for their trouble, right? I think that probably helps. What other kinds of things can people do to protect themselves, their animals, and the wolves? What do we do to keep this relationship healthy?
Yeah, first, with respect to human safety, when you say protect ourselves, I think it's really important for people to understand that wolves pose almost no threat to humans. Wolves are notoriously shy animals. They really don't want anything to do with us. They evolved over millions of years with their main prey image in their head, wild ungulates, elk, deer, bison, muskox, and they'll also eat occasional small animals like beaver or hare. Um, in the last 125 years, really since recorded history in the US of interactions with wolves across all of North America, there have only been 2 instances of people being killed by wolves. So 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
like any wild animal, we should always be respectful of them. Don't leave livestock carcasses lying around that have died from other causes because you'll draw in wolves and other predators. Don't throw your sandwich at them. Don't do anything to try to habituate them. But for the most part, there's really nothing to fear from wolves in terms of human safety. The best thing you can do is learn about wolf biology and behavior. But for the livestock owners, it's also important to know that livestock conflicts with wolves are rare in states with wolves or without wolves. 90 to 95% of livestock losses are due to causes that have nothing to do with any predator of any kind. It's disease, dehydration, starvation, birthing complications, respiratory infections is a big one, ingesting poisonous weeds. For those 5 to 10% of the cases where there are livestock losses, the best thing ranchers can do is act proactively. Once you know that there are wolves into your area or coming into your area, take steps to protect your livestock. And these are things like, as I mentioned, if you have livestock that have died from other causes, don't let their bone piles and carcasses stay there. Bury them or haul them away so you aren't drawing in predators right next to where your live livestock is. Uh, Maintaining human presence is really important. Going out and checking on your livestock. If you have cattle, that may mean range riders on horseback. If you have
hmm.
sheep, that probably means shepherds, along with livestock guardian dogs that are used successfully in Europe for centuries. There's so many common sense measures that can be used. And you're right, the agency is working with ranchers. And in fact, just this week announced some new efforts to really work helpfully with ranchers in 3 specific counties to prevent livestock conflicts from occurring.
Okay, that's you know what that's good to know that we're being proactive and that we're developing this respectful relationship with one of the other top predators in our environment. Um,
Indeed.
it is, it is. You know what? This has been a really informative talk, and it's so wonderful to have wolves coming back into my neighborhood. I have wolves in my backyard now, and it looks like this guy is about done with the cameras, and so are we. Amaroq, thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you can come back pretty soon and give us some more wonderful wolf news. This guy has had enough. He's going to bury us alive. All right, folks. Thanks, Amaroq. We'll see you next time. Hey, and we will see you folks too. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to run with the EarthSky Pack, then subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're here every weekday at 17:15. Also, right now, come on over and visit us at earthsky.org and find out more about our live June solstice party. That's going to be at our usual time this Friday, June the 20th. And we want to share how you celebrate. So we're looking for your pictures, your comments, your experiences. And we will be back tomorrow. We've got June's stunning double star and why it isn't really what it seems. I am Dave Adalian, and it has, as always, been a pleasure bringing this stuff to you. And we'll see you next time. One Earth, one sky, EarthSky.